with episode number 128 of What Does This Button Do? It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with us, the Geeks on Tour. Our beginner's lesson today is how to keep your Google account safe. But first, Chris has a quick tip. What do you have, Chris?
I just think the ability to type by swiping one finger is so cool. I just want to make sure everybody knows it. We've done this before, as I know that everybody knows it. So I want to show you what I mean first on the Android phone. And let me show it to you. There we go. And what I'm talking about is instead of having to type character by character, you can hold down, and I'm going to type Mary Had a Little Lamb, MaryHadali, and then just kind of circle around the T, little lamb. And every character you go over, see, it's continuing to figure out what you're typing. And this is just built into the Android. You don't have to do anything in your settings. You don't have to download any app. Just try it. And it takes a little bit of practice, but once you get good at it, oh, you can just type full-blown emails so easy rather than having to type character by character. Now, on the iPhone, it doesn't come built in, but there are free apps. So I'm going to go here to keep. And the way you have to download and install either the Gboard or SwiftKey or Swipe. And I have it written down on the slide. And then the way you choose a different keyboard is by long pressing on that little globe. And I can say next keyboard, and this one I can tell is the standard Apple keyboard. So I can type Mary, but I cannot hold down and it draw a word. But if I choose the Gboard, the Google keyboard, I can. Mary had a little lamb. I can type whole documents that way. I just love it. And just in case you didn't know about it. So for example, I was at Google last week. You'll hear more about it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But I mean, it was the most concentrated collection of geekdom that you can possibly have. And everybody I saw was either doing two thumbs or doing one finger. So I just figured that everybody should be doing it this way. And then so that's it. It's built into Android. You need a third-party app for iPhone, either Swipe, Gboard, or SwiftKey. You get them from the App Store and install them. One finger slides over all the letters in your work in order. In your words, I think I meant there. The keyboard figures out the word, and you only lift your finger in between words, and it automatically puts in a space. And you just kind of circle around the double letters. And we did do a whole show on this like 3 years ago now. Episode number 7. Maybe we should revisit the keyboards, because there's lots more that these keyboards can do. But I wanted you to know about Swipe. And then I think I am starting to make this a weekly thing, photo edit. And yes, this was at Google, and yes, I was in the minority.
She was in heaven with all these young guys.
both being a woman and being older, I was in the minority, but I think I had every bit as much fun, if not more, than they did. But that picture has a little bit of a problem. Take a look at that. And doesn't it look extra pink? You know, our skin tone, and the t-shirts are pink. So I open the picture, I tap the edit button, which is this little bunch of sliders, and I tap auto.
That's like an auto white balance.
And I don't know if you can see it. So let me go back to original, go back to auto. Yeah, I can see it a lot better here and in front of me, but it is just an auto white balance, and sometimes it makes a huge difference. That one, I think it made a pretty big difference. So that is the photo editing tip of the day.
I like that. Wow, that's the one. Hi here. I'm Jim, and here together with my wife, Chris, we're Geeks on Tour. And do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
Well, we are geeks who teach, and we think the best way to learn is on a regular basis in bite-sized pieces. So we came up with this weekly show, and we just come up with a different topic every week that we think is important to know. Then this is live on Sundays. After it's recorded, I write up show notes and make those available and post them on Wednesdays. And now on Thursdays.
Oh, yeah. We go live at 5 on Facebook Live. And that's just something that we're doing very informally. You might even see us have a glass of wine or something like that. But we go over, Chris writes these extensive show notes after every one of these classes, and with the time stamps and everything. So if you're a member of geeksontour.com, you get these show notes as part of your benefits of membership. We go over those show notes. If you have any questions, we try and answer those questions right there live, and we have an informal discussion that anybody can, in Facebook, can come on and state.
Very informal.
So, Chris, where are we now?
We're home in Fort Lauderdale. I got to add up the miles. I didn't do that. But in our new little RV, we are traveling further, faster. So we've just been gone a month, but we did a lot. Ending with Jim was at RV rally for Road Treks,
right,
just south of Gainesville. Fun. And I flew from the Gainesville airport out to Mountain View for the Google event. And then back. And the Google event, let me just tell you one little word. It's called the Top Contributors Summit. And I am a top contributor. You get that way by volunteering to answer questions in the Google product forums. And in return, Google recognizes us and gives us this perk of basically a 3-day party and class.
But you learn a lot.
We learned a lot. We learned a lot. Yep.
That's what she told me anyway.
And got to know my fellow top contributors.
Right.
So when I have a question, I have a group of people to ask, and I got to meet with them face to face over there. So that was fun.
As it should be. What do we got? Today's show, Google account security. This is so important. So our beginner's lesson is how to keep your Google account secure. If you have questions during the show, live show Saturday. That's today's Sunday,
Oops.
isn't it? I didn't check this as well as I should have. By Wednesday afternoon, though, this episode will be posted at thebuttonshow.com. You can leave your comments there, and we'll be happy to get to those if we can. So we do invite you to become a member at Geeks on Tour. Just go to our website, geeksontour.com, and click on Become a Member. Join now. See our website, geeksontour.com, for our weekly class menu. You can scroll down to show all the archives.
All 128 are listed and linked.
Cool. Yeah, I don't. Jim, your microphone is lower than Chris. Yeah, well, she does most of the talking. If I can just a little bit.
Yeah, you do sound a little low.
Okay. You can cut this out later. All right. Now I'm up a little bit. We'll see if that helps. Let me know. Oh, I got to get back in the frame.
Anything else there?
Let's see. Nope. Bill says he set his settings to 720p, toggled timestamps on, popped out chat, moved chat to the ThinkPad screen, full screen on external large screen. Ah,
Wow.
now we're appreciating the best. Okay.
Okay.
Steve says it's better. Thanks, man.
Okay.
All right. So, beginner's lesson, Chris.
It's how to keep your Google account safe. And there's a lot, and there's a lot of levels of safety. I basically just have two things, but I want to make sure you know these two things so strongly that I decided to make a whole beginner's lesson out of it instead of just a tip. So first, it's really important to understand what is your Google account. It's in the cloud. It's your cloud, though, your cloud on Google's servers, and it is identified by your email, probably a Gmail address, and the password. And then there's all sorts of stuff in there. There's your email, there's your photos, there's your Google Drive documents, there's your contacts, location history, calendar. And one account gives you access to all of those things, which makes it very, very convenient for us. But the flip side of convenience is a little scary. So there's a couple things. And I came up with this because we had a really good session from the chief security officer or something like that at Google, and I learned a lot. But these two things I've always known, and it's the important stuff for you. So look at all these things that are part of your Google account. You know, Google Chrome, you have your bookmarks in there. YouTube, you have your videos in there. Gmail, your email. Google Play, your apps. Google Search, the things you've searched for. All this is personal to you. And if you use AdSense, meaning you have ads on your website and you get some revenue from that, there might even be money involved inside your Google account. Or if you use a Google charge, Google, whatever they call it. One of these days we'll start using that and do a show on it. Okay. So the first thing that's important is if there is suspicious activity on your account, change your password. That's just the knee jerk. You got to change your password. Basic now, number one. Now, how do you know if there is suspicious activity? Well, number one, Google might message you. Google will say, gee, I see that there was a login on your account in the Ukraine. And I don't think that you're in the Ukraine. So if you don't recognize that login, then there's something suspicious going on.
Be suspicious of any message, though, that's in your folders or that pops up in your notifications. Be suspicious right away, but check it out. Don't be afraid of it. It doesn't mean that you have a problem, but check it out.
Now, I think the absolute way to know that somebody has gotten inside your account is if there are messages in your sent box that you did not send. Now, that has never happened to me. None of this has ever happened to me. If you just exercise a little bit of care, password, and turn on two-step verification, which is my number one point, you'll be fine. So change your password right now. And do I want to do that right now? No, I want to go on. So first, I want to just show you what is your Google account. So I am going to go to an incognito window. See, now I am logged in all over the place as myself, and I'd rather not be messing with my account. So we have our imaginary friend, Alan. And I'm going to click on the three-dot menu in the upper right of Chrome and go to New Incognito Window. That means it's a browser that is not logged in.
And that can be handy for a lot of reasons, too. We do it for testing all the time.
Yeah, that's the main thing. So if I go to Gmail, it just takes me, it says, well, you're not logged in. You need to be logged in as somebody first. So I'm going to log in as our imaginary friend, and we've given him an email address of gotguest. So that's the username. Next comes the password. So let's say that
That's the same as mine, all dots.
Yeah, and I don't know, it shouldn't be remembering that. That's another. Okay, so let's say I'm the bad guy. And somehow, I mean, it's easy to get a hold of your email, right? It's everywhere. But it takes some work to get a hold of your password. But let's say I did. So I'm the bad guy here. How do I? There. Does that look more like a bad guy?
That really messed it up. Way to go.
Y-O-Y-O. So I'm entering the password.
Everybody get that now?
I started to say it. Yeah. And this gets me into Alan's email. But if you take a look in the upper right-hand corner, here is his avatar. And yeah. And so he is logged in to Chrome. And notice there's a bunch of security alerts here from Google in his email. Now, why do I say that email is probably the most important thing to keep secure?
Well, figure that if you ask a bank, for instance, you go to their website and you say, oh, I forgot my password, and you request a password reset, where is that going to be sent? It's going to be sent to your email, right?
To your email.
So if somebody gets access to your email, they can go in there and make some changes, and you won't even know about it because you won't see those changes.
But then the way Google works, it's one account for all sorts of things. So I can just go to a new tab. And since I'm already logged in, I can go to Photos. And I can see all of Alan's photos. I can go to...
Alan doesn't have... Oh, there they are.
Yeah, he does. I've played with him.
Oh, okay.
And I can go to Contacts and see all of his Google contacts. And I can open up another tab and say Calendar. So I can see what he's doing. Now, how did I get here? So understand the way this works, everything that's part of your Google account is for your eyes only. But it knows that it's your eyes looking by your username and password. So if somebody else has your username and password, they can get in. If that has happened, password. Well, what if if I were the bad guy, the first thing I would do would be change the password so that the real owner can't do that. And sometimes that does happen. But it also happens that the bad guy doesn't want you to notice that they're in there doing stuff. So they haven't changed the password. So if you do notice, you can. So I want to go back to the slides first. All right. But it's not just your password. Your Google account also needs a phone number, a secondary email, and security questions to help identify who you are. Then that really, really comes in handy if you lose your password, or if a bad guy does get in there and changes your password. There are still ways, if you have the phone number, the secondary email, and the security questions, that you can get it back. And we covered that in depth in episode 114, how to recover your account. And if you have not entered the phone number, the secondary email, and security questions, you might not be able to. So this is important. Google does take security very seriously. They are not going to let you into an account that you don't know how to get into unless you can really prove that you deserve to get into that account.
I have a question here.
Okay.
Does leaving the original login open in the background eliminate Google complaining that the cookies are turned off while incognito?
Oh, I'm afraid I don't understand incognito as much as I should.
Well, there are settings that you can allow certain things in incognito windows. Incognito, basically what it does is it just any access to your passwords, but you can enable the Google password manager to work in incognito. And that's you have to enable it somewhere in your settings.
So that must be what I did at some point back when.
That's what I suspect.
Yeah, and it isn't, the settings are in the 3-dot menu on Chrome and settings, and then probably advanced. And I think that's where you see stuff on the incognito.
Privacy and security.
But generally speaking, I do not like to leave anything open in an incognito window. I just use an incognito window to test something, and then I close it out.
Right.
And I should probably actually sign out of anything that was in there. In fact, let me do that. I think that sounds like a good idea. So I do want to sign out and then close my windows before I do the next thing. And I could probably have just signed out from one and then waited.
I think so.
I don't know. It still seems...
You can close the whole incognito window, and that will definitely log you out. Nothing should be remembered.
Okay. So back to the slides. There we go. Here. And the last slide, but definitely not least, is two-step verification. So two-step verification, also known as two-factor authentication, is the single most important thing you can do to keep your account safe. It adds one more step. Instead of just having to know your username and password, you have to have your cell phone. So something you know and something you physically have. So the first step, step 1, already done, username and password. Once it accepts that, once you click login for there's one more step.
Okay, with the verification code being sent to this phone. Sometimes it seems instantaneous, and sometimes it might take a couple of minutes. And sometimes you have to resend it.
Okay, so we're just going to show you how to set that up and then how it works. So this is the demo. And as I try to do every time, please pay attention to the concepts and not so much the keystrokes, because these screens and the actual words and the things that you click on change all the time. But the concepts of just adding an extra layer of security doesn't change. So I'm going to go to myaccount.google.com and do the security checkup, change the password, and turn on two-step verification. And I'm going to use mobile to do this, just so you see how this all works in the cloud. It doesn't matter what device you have in your hand. So I'm going to the iPad. And there's lots of different ways to get to your account, but the one that works all the time is to open a browser, preferably Chrome, and go to the website, myaccount.google.com. And I don't want to sign in because that's, oh. And I definitely don't want to sign in as Chris. So I'm going to undo that and I'm going to add an account. So I want to add Alan to this device.
Alan.
And that is got guest 1
at gmail.com.
at. Anybody see the at?
They keep moving.
There it is. gmail.com. And then next. And I haven't changed the password yet. We will do that. Import data. No. Keep importing. And we're going to a browser, and we will be at the Google page where all of Alan's account settings are. Okay, got it.
Hi.
I need a new iPad.
Yes, you do. Can you wait till Black Friday?
Yeah, that's the idea. This one is definitely old. Come on.
Fight it, baby. Anybody else have this issue where it just spins and spins?
What I always do is I force quit because that just didn't look right. And start it again. Overall set. All right. So my account .google.com.
Do we really need to type in the at gmail.com?
No, you don't. I just have it. If it is Gmail, that's what is assumed. But you could have a Google account that is not a Gmail address. So that's why. All right. So at myaccount.google.com, first you need to sign in to get the particular account. Okay, it just took a minute. I said, didn't I already do that? Yes, I did already do that, and it was just slow. So the little dolphin here is Alan's avatar. And it's sign in and security that we're dealing with here. It's always good to just take a look at this security checkup. Let's see what's in there. Security checkup. And recent security activities. It's probably saying, yeah, that you've signed in on different devices. Yeah, I know. Yep, that was definitely me.
Yeah, I get these too because we have shared accounts.
Yeah. And we have so many devices. But if you do get one of these that says it's from Ukraine, then that would be something to be concerned about. And you can always go in here and look. All right, your device. Remove your account from your Samsung Galaxy tab. Yeah, I probably should do that. Sign in and recovery, 2 verification methods. And that is checked. So I apparently already have. And third-party access, I've given 1 app low-risk access. Okay, so that's not too bad. Signing in. So to change your password, it's under sign in and security and signing into Google. And password says it was last changed on August 26th. I can tap on that and give Alan a new password.
We won't show it to everyone.
Okay. Oh, I have to give it my real password first.
I thought so.
Okay, yeah. Okay, now it's ready for my new password. And
tick, tick.
And if I want to make sure I typed it right, yeah, you can tap on the little eyeball and see it. So my password was changed. Write that down.
Write down the new password.
Somewhere. Unless you're now, the other thing you probably should do is have a password manager. So it gives you
something like LastPass. Or, yeah.
Yeah. But we don't. And the most important thing is the two-step verification. So my password was changed and no issues. Continue on to my account. And in addition to changing the password, I do want to turn on two-step verification. It's currently off. Two-step verification.
Keep the bad guys out and adds an extra layer of security.
Get started. To put in my new password. And let's set up your phone. And Alan has his own phone. It's that $59 one that I did, whose phone number goes away today.
Yeah, now we're going to figure out what happens after the $59 phone crashes and burns.
Okay. How do you want to get codes, text messages, or phone calls? So you can set this up for somebody who doesn't have a texting phone. It can get an actual phone call, but texting is much more convenient.
Much.
All right. So it says that it has sent a code to this phone. And sure enough, I just heard a little beep. And I'll show you what it looks like. So it's up in the notifications. And here's something that messes people up. They see that first number, that 22000, and they think that's the code. No, that's just the identity of the number that this code came from. The code, you have to read the thing. Your Google verification code is 350292, right? Three, 50292. And that code will be different every time this happens. That's how two-step verification works.
So you can delete that text message.
Right. You do not need, in fact, it only has a lifespan of 20 minutes or something like that, I think. Mm-hmm. And so I've turned it on. Okay. And there is lots more in here, but those are the two main things I wanted you to know, is how to change your password and that you should turn on two-step verification. And it works on all, so that password is now changed for Alan on his phone. So let's see. I think Google Photos will probably not work now. I don't know, but I would think that it wouldn't work because it's tied.
See?
Yeah, so it's
asking for verification before it goes through, but it did have some information behind it somehow.
Settings. Yeah, like I say, I didn't test this out, and if it continues to work now, it will. Yeah, can't sign in. All right. And that's because the password is changed. So I changed the password using the iPad, but it affects the account on the phone and on the computer. And that's what I'll show you next. So now I'm going to go back bad guy. And I'm going to an incognito browser. And I'm going to google.com. And I'm going to sign in as Alan. Somehow I know his new password. his email hasn't changed. So it is, and that came up. So I know his new password.
Because you wrote it down.
Yeah. But even though...
Wrong password.
Oh, come on. I did that just to make everybody feel better.
Right. You always do that. She's so good that way. So Ron Brown says the code comes in as a SMS text, not as a text message. It's also often confusing for people. Yeah, we're going to have to do another class just on text SMS, than the difference between different text messages.
Well, that's simple. That is text message. SMS is simple messaging system.
Yeah.
That is text message. MMS is multimedia. Anyway, so see what happened here. So I'm the bad guy in Ukraine, and first try, I was able to get in and see all of Alan's stuff because I knew his username and his password. But the second time it says, okay, you know the username and password, but do you have his phone and can get the code that was just sent to the phone? No, I don't. Not in the Ukraine, I don't. So that is the beauty of two-step. And yes, it is a little bit of an inconvenience, but not much. And notice this one checkbox here that says, don't ask again on this computer, right? Under the enter the code, don't ask again on this computer. So once you have used a computer or a phone or a tablet and gotten it verified, then you don't have to do it again unless something is out of the ordinary with the transaction. And I think that was it.
Cool. Back to the slideshow then.
Yep.
Got it all?
Did all that. Yep.
Good deal. Any more questions? A couple of comments here. The code is sent and the text message stays on your phone unless you delete it. That's true. It'll be there, but it won't work after a certain amount of time. As Laverne says, the code is only good for the time being, and I agree.
Yeah, they're just one-time codes.
Okay. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com and search for Geeks on Tour. And like us on our Facebook page. Anything that you can do to
stay connected
with Geeks on Tour. App of the Week is really not an app. It's an exclusive new member benefit that the FMCA, the Family Motor Coach Association, has come up with to keep people connected on the go. As RVers, we still need to be connected everywhere we travel. It's very important. And some people need more connectivity than others. And the FMCA plan that came out, it's connected on the go. Now, they tried one earlier this year. It was too good to be true. It didn't work, and Verizon pulled the plug on it. This one gives you, it's more limited, but it's more realistic, fast and reliable 4G LTE with a jetpack. You buy this jetpack, it's a hotspot. And Verizon has the best overall nationwide coverage. You have unlimited monthly service. You'll never see any overage charges for domestic usage. Now, that's not limited. They do limit you, and they have the option of slowing you down after 25 gigabytes. But you get this, you get it in a couple of days after you sign up. It's really small. It can stay in your rig or fit in your bag or pocket. Good battery, all that stuff, and it really should work for you. Check it out. Chris is going to the website now and show you some. It's $50 a month. You have to be a Family Motor Coach Association member in good standing for 2 years, and there is a contract. So it's something that you really need to take a look at. It might not be for everyone out there, but for a lot of travelers, a lot of RVers, I think it's a real good option. Is that it?
Yeah, because what was here is that the hotspot is only 1 penny with a 2-year agreement, and the service is $50 a month. And so this is a good plan. It's not as good as the one that got shut down, but that's why it got shut down.
Okay, Ron says I should mention Google Authenticator. Google Authenticator is something that we've been looking at this week in preparation for this show, and it's something that's going to require a little bit more in depth. It's an app that goes on your device, on your Android or Apple phone.
I believe my understanding, if for some reason you're not connected, you can't get an SMS, you can you can generate your own codes to on one device to authenticate another device.
Like I say, it's a little complicated.
And there's even another one.
And you have to do it ahead of time. So, and they have a lifespan. So, yeah,
it's just more than what I think most of our people need. And the last one is definitely more. If you really, really, really need to be secure, if you are a celebrity or a politician, you can get a physical security key so that your device will not work unless you have that little physical piece plugged in.
The USB dongle or USB port on your device.
USB on a computer or Bluetooth on a mobile.
Right.
But that's really secure. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can't do with your account if you've chosen that method. So, more than we need to do.
Right. Okay. So we have a couple of things. So on my devices with two-step verification, after checking box, don't show me again, I don't have to repeat the two-step process?
Correct.
Correct.
It still might once in a while.
Depends on the timing, and there are some things involved there.
You're in a different location or something, but generally, no.
For most people, it happens to me more often because I'm logging in from different locations, different IPs, different ways of connecting. So, yeah, don't be upset if it comes up again. It's just a security thing. All right. Is there a service like Yelp that gives locations and speeds available to travelers? When we're doing our Button Sunday shows, it would be in handy. We do try it. There are some apps and some websites purport to give you speeds, but you really don't even know what you're going to get until you get there and test it. And then once you start all this technology, it does tend to eat the bandwidth. So
yeah, there are such, but we've never been able to rely on them. So
okay. But yeah, there are some, and I'm sure it'll get better all the time. That's just the nature of the animal here. It's great to have that situation. All right. Let's see.
The one that I like the best is just looking at the Verizon towers.
Yeah, and that's really pretty cool. Well, did you learn something? Here's our questions for you. In addition to Gmail, or addition to email, name 3 other important things stored in your Google account.
Well, there's photos. Those are very important.
Very.
Your calendar items, your contacts, your location history, and
your bookmarks.
And your bookmarks. Is that 3?
That's at least 3. If you have two-step verification turned on and a bad guy knows your username and password, they couldn't hack into your account unless they also have what? Your date of birth, your cell phone, your social security number, or your mother's maiden name.
B. Remember, it's something you know and something you have, something physical.
Cool. Google sends you emails when your account is used in an unexpected way. If you don't recognize an activity, what should you do? Call Google, close your account, or change your password?
Change your password.
I think, yeah, that's the first thing you should do. To turn on two-step verification, log into myaccount.google.com and click what?
Sign in and security. You might want to browse through all the other stuff too. They keep trying to make it clearer and clearer and clearer what you have with Google and how to protect it.
All right, Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our weekly shows?
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is weekly class. You'll find our entire archive under there.
And the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters.
geeksontour.com, the menu item is blogs and news. Newsletters are all under there.
Yeah.
Several years worth.
And November's up there. So what are the benefits you get by joining Geeks on Tour?
A complete library of prepared tutorial videos, asking questions on our Q&A forum where we promise to respond, and the show notes for these shows, and 7 ebooks now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and good stuff. Well, we do invite you to become a member. Just go to geeksontour.com and click on the link. Next time, we should have a live show on Sunday. We'll have a rotating topic: Facebook basics, photos, maps, blogs, miscellaneous. Watch for the posting in the show notes on Wednesday and the follow-up Facebook Live Q&A on Thursday. We should go live at 5. And if you have an idea for a topic, use the suggestion box at thebuttonshow.com.
5 Eastern time.
Yeah, or wherever we happen to be. Because sometimes we're elsewhere. All right, so that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Remember, Wednesday, the show is on thebuttonshow.com. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we are Geeks on Tour.
Keep pushing those buttons.
And check out Technomadia for more information.
On the internet services for the special.
Right.
They wrote a detailed article, yes, on the FMCA new hotspot.
All right. Bye-bye.